what's up? Hopefully you can see me. I'm not quite sure if you can. I am in the way back of the garden. Hello. We're going to do just an early morning garden tour. Ideally the sun is a little bit bright and not where I'd like it to be because it is a little bit harsh, but this is really the only time of day that I can come out here and it'll be at least a little bit quiet, I hope, so that we can use this audio for our video. Taking a look around, as you can see, a lot of stuff is in bloom. I mean, we've got the agrostema, we've got the bachelor's buttons, we've got peas coming up the side. Honestly, not sure if you can even see me. Anyway, we've got the ranunculus finishing up, the poppies finishing up, and a new thing, we have the snapdragons. So let's bring you guys in a little bit closer and take a look at what's going on in the hoop house. So obviously the first thing I wanted to show you guys are these snapdragons. If you've been following the channel along, you know that I've always had so much trouble growing snapdragons, yet here they are. These are our hardy annual snapdragons that we grew in the hoop house from a fall planting. They're starting to bloom. They look amazing. Hopefully the camera's focusing. I'm not sure. It's really bright out here. For the Chantilly pink, these are the very just nice open-faced pink snapdragons, and the blooms are huge. They're a good height. I'm really excited about these snapdragons. Also gaining traction near the snapdragons are the Canterbury bells. If you remember, we planted these Canterbury bells also back at the end of, I want to say, September. They are just now starting to bud up. I will say that these Canterbury bells are a lot smaller than the ones that I grew last year, and I think that has to do with spacing. I think these Canterbury bells are actually spaced way too close to each other, so that's a lesson that I've learned this season. Now I do feel like I've been saying this one for a while. It's about time for these ranunculus and for these Icelandic poppies to be finished. You can see it's getting pretty hot now. We're now up in the mid 80s every day, and they're not handling it well. So this will probably be the last update that you see the ranunculus and that you see the Icelandic poppies. I think we had a really good run. We got lots of flowers, lots of cut flowers from them. We made lots of flower arrangements. I'm really pleased with how the Icelandic poppies did, especially for my first time really successfully growing them. So I have absolutely no complaints. Hopefully I'll be able to take just a few more last beautiful pictures before I tear these out, and I'll probably put something in their place like maybe peppers or eggplants or something like that. Maybe even watermelons. I don't know. I gotta put something else there because these are just taking up space at this point. Okay, so in this little small stand of plants we have quite a few different things. On the far left we have a scabiosa. You remember we planted some scabiosa last year as the hardy annuals. Some of those died back, but a lot of those made it, as you can see. In the front, that kind of ferny looking foliage, that is love in a mist or nigella. They have not started blooming yet, but they are very close. And in the back there we have a couple of bells of Ireland. You can see the bells, the actual bells starting to form. Those are getting taller and taller. I'm very excited about this, considering, I mean, this is the first time I've ever been successful growing any bells of Ireland. So this season we're having a lot of first time success, which I'm really just pumped up about because I can't wait to use these in cut flower arrangements. Alright, so as you can see here in the middle of the hoop house, we have these vines crawling up. These are actually our sweet pea vines. They're not very tall. I'm kind of disappointed that, even though I did overwinter these, they didn't get that much height, but they're already kind of starting to form up buds. They're not blooming yet. We're still waiting patiently, but hopefully they put on some more height before they bloom because I really want them to stretch up this trellis. This is kind of disappointing. Regardless of how tall they're going to get, they're going to look beautiful. A lot of it's probably my fault anyway because I let the weeds definitely get out of control when it comes to sweet peas. Here's a quick peek at our bachelor's buttons. I mean, you guys have seen bachelor's buttons before. It's nothing fancy, but they are starting to bloom. As you can see, they are probably about 3.5 to almost 4 feet tall right now, and I assume they'll only get taller. That's one of the really good things about planting bachelor's buttons as a hardy annual is they get plenty tall, plenty fast. So now that I've showed you most of the stuff in the hoop house, I do want to show you guys a few things outside of the hoop house. I keep calling it the hoop house. I mean, there's no cover on it, but whatever. These are the larkspur. This is the imperial mix larkspur. You'll remember that we direct sowed our larkspur back in, I want to say, the end of September, and they overwintered all winter long, even though we had a pretty cold winter without any kind of protection or roll covers or anything. You can see they all survived quite well, and now we have this lovely stand of larkspur that has started to elongate and get taller, and hopefully, maybe probably about next month, we'll have some really, really, really beautiful flower spikes of larkspur to look forward to. So I'm really eager to see that. The progress in this part of the garden has been really, really slow and disappointing. Here you can see the sunflowers and tomatoes. They're getting a little bit bigger, but nothing too impressive. And in this bed we have the artichokes, which are right there in the right corner. They're getting a little bit bigger. Hopefully those will keep growing into the hot and humid weather, which probably won't happen, just being honest. Next to that we have some Shasta daisies, and honestly I just didn't have anywhere else to put the Shasta daisies. And then right here are my Lysianthus, and I have been, babying these things and taking care of these things. They grow so slowly. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying so hard. I have removed all of the grass and the weeds from them. They're looking pretty good otherwise. They're green. They have put on a little bit of new growth, but I'm feeling really, really pessimistic about these. Look at the progress of some of my zinnias. These are some of my fancier zinnias, like the queen lime and all that stuff. I just planted them not too long ago. It's been about maybe 2 weeks now, maybe a week and a half. Overall, the seedlings look pretty good. I'm going to have to get in there and do some weeding soon. Lots of little tiny maple trees coming up in there. I'm going to put some more mulch down so that we can get the best chance possible for some really nice zinnias this year. I was distracted there for a second. I almost forgot to show you guys the vegetable beds that are in the garden right now. You can see, I'm not sure if you can see it actually in focus. In the front here we have our potatoes. The potatoes are growing well. You remember if you watched the tuber video, I had red potatoes, blue potatoes, some kind of baked potatoes, all kinds of just nice potatoes. I planted in this teeny tiny space. The space is a little bit too small, but we're just making do with what we got. In front of those potatoes are the lettuces. There's some Brussels sprouts sprinkled in there too. I don't know if I'm going to leave those or if I'm just going to tear those out as soon as it gets too hot, but the lettuces are doing great. You can see they're nice and green and fluffy. I've been eating lots of salads, and it's honestly more lettuce than I know what to do with. I've been giving some away. It has been getting a little bit bitter over the last couple of days, so it might be thinking about bolting already, so I'm not really sure on that one. Lettuce is the onions and the leeks. The leeks are in front of the onions. The onions are the ones that are a little bit smaller. They're doing well. I'm keeping those nice and weed-free. That's another thing that I really have to stay on top of, because the weeds will take over those too if I'm not careful. Even though I'm using that black plastic, I've also laid down a few leaves just because it's so hard to keep the grass out here in my yard, so I'm doing my best with that. And beyond that, we just have a few little random odds and ends like crinkled cress and some red auroch. So that's really about it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot of stuff growing and blooming and going on, and it's absolute chaos and crazy right now. But hopefully I will be able to plant the rest of these trays, and we'll have a great looking garden. If you're new to the channel and you like this one, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you. Making new content all the time. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye guys.